So we have this information, and these are weeks 1 through 6, and they give you the values, the forecast values. And right here, the first thing is asking you to construct a time series plot. And what is the pattern that exists in the data? Well, if you were in my 3370 class that we just finished, you will remember that in order to insert a graph, all you need to do is to select the values that you're willing to have the graph on. Go and insert, go right here, and this time we're gonna use the scatter with straight lines and markers. Just by looking at this, well, it's not really, you could say mostly it's a horizontal pattern. How do you confirm this? Click in any of these points with the right button of the mouse, and then right here, just go ahead and do add trend line and linear. See right here? So it's pretty much a horizontal pattern. If you want to go ahead and if you were in my 3370 class, you just learn about the linear regression, simple linear regression, and R square and correlation coefficient. So I'm just gonna put it here for curiosity. Let me make this bigger. So pretty much here's saying for every week you increase, pretty much is decreasing, see the minus signs, in 0.3714. So it's mostly a decreasing horizontal. And on your R square, it's very small. It's very weak. So right here, you can just say that the data appears to follow a horizontal line, a horizontal pattern, which means you would be done with A. Now it's asking you to develop a 3-week moving average. It's asking you to compute the mean square error and forecast for week 7. So let's go ahead and start here. If it's a 3-week, therefore you don't have anything before for this values right here for the first 3 weeks, because you're gonna average beginning on week 4. You don't have anything for the first 3. Don't get confused. This part here, the problem, it's considered another table. I just put it all together. Okay, let's do it like this. So right now we are working on this one. How do we average for the previous 3 weeks? Just like I said, we are averaging for the previous 3 values. Uh, if you're not familiar with Excel, every time you put the equal sign, it asks you for a formula, and then we are asking for the average, and then asking you now which numbers. We wanted the first 3 numbers to average. Another thing, here you go, 15.67. Another thing is now that we have this formula and we have the cells, all we need to do is to click the left button on the mouse on this little corner right here and drag it down. I'm gonna do it all the way over here. It's gonna make sense for this question. So all it did, it updated from B4 to B6, and then B5 to B7, B6 to B8, and then B7 to B9, which was the last one. Okay, so to do the error, we're gonna do my forecast value minus my sorry, my forecast value minus my moving average right here, and then we're gonna drag it down. For this case, for the week 7, we don't need it. Let's just do it minus well. Right here is telling you square error. So you're gonna get this value right here, the error, and we're gonna square it. So we're gonna do this, which is called caret, and put 2, and that's your value. Let me make this smaller right here. 2 digits should be more than enough. And I'm gonna drag it down. Okay, so now I don't really need this too. Let me just get rid of it. Now I have all the values I need to calculate my MSE, as it states mean square error. So is the average of all the square errors. So we're just gonna do it equals to average of these values right here. And that's my So develop a 3-week moving average. We did. Compute the MSC. So my MSC for the 3-week is 11.89. Okay. So now in a forecast for week 7, well, we already did the forecast for week 7 in a 3-week is equals to this value right here, which we don't want in this format. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and put this back, and I'm gonna hide this so it doesn't confuse you. So let's say now we created another table, and now it's asking you to compute the smoothing at, I know it sounds funny, the exponential smoothing of 0.2. So all we need to do, first of all, for a forecast, you never have a value at the beginning because you don't have anything to forecast before. Okay, now it's where it's gonna get tricky, and I need you to pay lots of attention. So here we go. For the second one, all we have is 18, correct? For the previous one, we don't have anything, so we just copy. But for this one, we're gonna do equals to my preceding value plus we're gonna add 20% right here, and then we're gonna add 20% of the difference between the value minus my preceding value. And there it is. Okay, here is the thing that I want you to do. On the alpha, which is right here, is 0.2. I do want you to refer to this cell so we can answer letter E right here. It's gonna make sense. So here's what we're gonna do. Right here on the 0.2, I'm gonna replace that, and I'm gonna select this cell. And if you do remember from the other class, I'm gonna press the key F as in Frank 4 on my keyboard, and it's gonna put this dollar signs, which means always refer to this cell. When I drag it down, don't update the value. Keep 0.2. So enter, nothing changed. But now we're gonna drag this down to copy all the formula and give us all the values. But notice right here on this part right here, it's never gonna change. It's always doing multiplying by 20, which is K4. Okay. So again, all I did was G5, which is my previous value, plus 20% times the difference between the value and then the forecast value. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do equals to my forecast, my value minus my forecast. Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you. Here we go. So now we have this value. We're just gonna drag it down here. It's also asking me for forecast for week 7. So let's go ahead and do that. Drag it down here. Okay. But we don't need the MSC for week 7, just the forecast. I should call it exponential forecast. Okay, so now we're gonna do the square error, the error square. So we're gonna do equals to this value, caret 2, and we're gonna drag it down. Okay, so now to get our MSC, let me put it down here. Remember, this is supposed to be the column for mean square error, so the average of this value. So we're gonna do equals to the average of all these values right here, and it's gonna be equals to 13.03. Okay. Now it's also asking you for the forecast for week 7. That's why I drag it one more down. There we go. And C is done. So next, let's go to compare the 3-week moving average forecast with the exponential smoothing forecast using the alpha 0 put, which one appears to provide the better? Remember, we are always looking for the smaller MSE, the smaller mean square error. So the smaller right here is the 3. So we can say that the 3 week moving average provides a better forecast since it has a smaller MSE. Okay, and that would answer your 4D. Okay, now let's go ahead and answer E, which gets a little tricky, but once you get it going, it's going to be very simple. You're going to need solver, which is found under data. You're going to need solver. Actually, I need my data analysis disappear. I need to fix that. If you don't know how to add that, go in File, Options, Add-ins, File, Option, Add-ins, all the Excel add-ins. Clicking Go, don't click in OK. It gives you all the options. So here's my solver, and I do have checked the analysis 2-pack for whatever reason is not working. So let me do OK. There's my solver. So right here, all you're gonna do is says use try and error to find a value. It's pretty much asking an optimal value for the exponential smoothing that results in a smaller MSE than the one you calculate. So they want a smaller one right here, but that is going to take into consideration everything else you did. So it's going to be an optimal value that we're going to be covering that a lot this term. Um, so that's why I want to expose you to that. All you need to do, go in solver. Your objective right here is to make this value right here smaller, correct? A smaller MSE. So we're going to change this value right here. So now we're going to change what? We want to see the alpha, how much we have to change alpha. So that's the changing cell. Here, what I added here, the constraints were, I added that I wanted the alpha needs to be less or equals than 1 because it's 100%. So no more than, okay, no more than 1 or 100%, which I can delete it here. I already did it before. I also said, which you could add another one and say that you wanted the alpha also to be greater or equal than 0, okay? Because it has to be between 0 and 100%. So do OK, which I had put in here before. I'm just going to delete it. And now all you need to do, leave it here, make unconstrained variables non-negative, and leave it at GRC nonlinear and do solve. Click on solve and notice this value right here. And then this is the message that is giving me. Solver found a solution. All constraints and optimality condition are satisfied. So it did find me. Oh, or let me do it again because I didn't do OK and it went away. There you go. So let's just do OK on this. Don't just close it, do OK to accept it. So now it found that the best alpha, that it's not gonna change drastically all our values, it's gonna respect all that, that our optimal value for alpha should actually be equals to 0.37. And if you do use that alpha, those are the values that you're going to be encounter, and that's going to be your MSE.